UFC 312 is Saturday. We have a great rematch in the main event. We have 2 title fights overall. Weili Zhang defending her belt against the best wrestler she has ever fought. And overall, we have a very good fight card. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks. I'm going to give you my bets for UFC 312. Before we look specifically at my bets going forward, let's take a quick look at my most successful bet going backwards. The safety parlay is one single bet that I put on the board for the world to see. That one single bet has hit 11 of the last 13 events. It has a 54% ROI from one single bet in a pretty volatile sport to bet on. You can unlock the safety parlay right now. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. You'll immediately have access to every single thing that we do, including the beacon of stability, which is the safety parlay. You'll also have access to other cappers. It's not just me on there giving the world the safety parlay. You're going to get all of Jacob's picks and bets, Artem's picks and bets, and BetSam. BetSam's the latest addition. He's not a name you may have seen so far, but BetSam has just been quietly grinding. This is what it looked like for him last week at UFC Saudi Arabia. These were all of his bets for UFC Saudi Arabia, 18% ROI, up almost 4 units. BetSam is in addition to what we already had going on. So you get Jakey Boy, you get me, you get Artem. Now you have BetSam giving you his picks, bets, and breakdowns as well. But premium isn't just some copy-paste bets. A lot of you like to do your own research, find your own spots. You're watching this video just to see what's going on, and then you're going to go ahead, do some tape study, look at some stats, and try to find some pieces. Well, we have all the tools you could ever need to do your own research. One of those tools is the Data Analyzer. It has every matchup from every fight card all the way out into the future. You can dig into the fight card, each individual fighter, look at their stats, how they match up against their opponent. You can even watch the tape study. If you're a tape study kind of guy and you want to see the fight yourself, remind you what was working and what wasn't working, you can do so right here in the Data Analyzer. You'll all have access to the line movement tracker. The line movement tracker will give you the opening odds, their current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. And you're going to have access to the Prop Hunter. The Prop Hunter is a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. There's about 30 other things going on with premium membership. It is by far the most robust and the greatest value in this space. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10 for an entire month, and that month is going to give you 4 events. You'll kick it off with UFC 312, and then you have 3 really good fight nights before you hit your deadline. Today is, what, February 5th? 6th? You'll have full access till March 6th. Every single event. All the picks, the bets, the tools, everything for fantasy and gambling. There is no weird tiers. There's no upsells. There's no add-ons. It's $10 for an entire package of the greatest suite of data you could ever want or need. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let's talk about this card specifically. How long was that sales pitch? Through to 3 minutes for a pay-per-view? You can't be complaining. You can't be complaining about that. A 3-minute pitch for a pay-per-view? Come on, guys. Come on. Anyway, let's talk in generalities. I'll show you the bets in a second. I've got some confident favorites on this card. I also have some very interesting underdogs. This card feels crazy. This is a sketchy card. The entire main card could go anyway. Literally, every underdog could win on the main card, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. The undercard seems a little more stable. Let's take a look. Kevin Gisette might be my most confident pick on this card. And that's because he's an established UFC fighter. He's got high-level judo, and he's kind of fighting a guy that's going to want to drag him to the ground. I think the judo will hold up defensively. Certainly, he should be submission sound on the ground defensively, and he's going to be the better striker. He's a big guy. He's a strong guy, powerful guy, pretty durable guy. He was just finished in his last fight, but he was fighting a pit bull in Brian Battle. Quinlan Sulkin is a guy that I'm pretty confident in. I will say, this line has gotten out of control. Don't touch it anymore. Minus 675 for a UFC debut. What is happening is there's a little bit of, I'm not going to say racism. That's a crazy thing to say. But what is happening is people are saying, oh, Anshul Jubli just got barked at and quit, and Indian fighters haven't had the most success. That's what's happening. And I completely disagree with both of those points. Anshul Jubli is a good fighter. He's a well-rounded guy. He is a pretty durable guy. He did freeze, the barking did freeze him up. I don't think he knew what was going on, but it was his UFC debut. First time in the bright lights, part of a big stage, and again, dude's just barking at him, so he did shut down. I think people are making a lot of snap judgments here. I am going to still pick Quinlan because I do think he's the better fighter. But I was picking him when he was -2 something. Now that he's -700, people need to just, and the reason I have this name on here is so I can talk to it and sort of talk you off a ledge here if we're going to go ahead and spend $700 to win 100 on a UFC debut fighting a pretty well-rounded guy. Then we have Alessandro Topuria, another UFC debut. He was originally supposed to fight somebody that was a lot better than his current opponent. His original opponent was the favorite in the matchup. Now Alessandro Topuria has a sort of a short notice opponent, somebody stepping up on a little over a week. And Alessandro Topuria should win this fight. He's notably Ilia Topuria's older brother. He's been wrestling his entire life. When they were small children, they were put in the Greco-Roman wrestling, and they've been doing that forever. He's not as polished as his younger brother. He does have power in his hands. He fights angry, like he has a chip on his shoulder. He's got the wrestling. He's got the power. And I think he's going to win this fight. My big concern with Alessandro Topuria is his inactivity. I mean, he fights every couple of years, but he is dialed in. He is with his brother. He is training. He is doing all the things, and he is making his UFC debut here. So always questions there, but he'll be fighting another UFC debut, and they are stepping up on short notice. Alessandro Topuria should get it done. I do have a couple bets there, and we'll show you that. And then Dricus du Plessis in the main event for 2 reasons. One, he already won this fight. We saw this fight, and he won it. I do think he won the fight. And I know it was controversial at the time, but I watched it. I do tend to value takedowns more than a lot of other people do, which is why there was probably quite a bit of debate there, because technically speaking, according to the stats, Sean Strickland landed 40 more significant strikes than Dricus did, but Dricus also had 6 takedowns. I think Dricus wins this fight again. I think he comes forward. I think he's all gas, no brakes. I think he gets the takedowns. I think he stays in Sean's face, and I think he wins. The counter to that, if you're on the Sean Strickland side, would be, well, when Sean Strickland was the champ, he was fighting to keep the belt, not fighting to win the fight. Now he's not the champ, and he's going to go out there guns blazing. Maybe. He also has that staph infection on his arm that everybody wants to talk about. I have no idea if that will or will not affect him. Sean's kind of an interesting guy where, A, he's got plenty of cardio, and B, he doesn't use cardio. He's not a guy that's very cardio heavy. He does small actions, lots of this. He's not shooting takedowns. He's not grinding. It's just lots of this. And he could do that for a week and a half straight. So this will be an interesting main event, but I do think Dricus is going to get it done. If we're looking at underdogs, you could basically run your way up this entire 13 fight card and pick every single underdog. And honestly, it might be a weird card where if you bet every single underdog, you can end up plus money. It feels like a crazy card, but let's run through it. Right off the rip, first fight of the night, I'm picking Nyam. And he is in an interesting fight. He's an underdog here. His opponent's a good grappler, will snatch up a submission. He just knocked somebody out on the feet, but he knocked out somebody that is no longer in the UFC. So I don't think that's a real factor there. What I like about Nyam, and the reason that I have him picked here as a solid underdog, despite these crazy odds, is that he's aggressive. He showcased power. He has the ability to come forward and bring a fight to his opponent. His last fight, he did lose, and it was his first loss. But he lost because he was literally too aggressive. He was rallying. He was chasing a finish and then sort of slipped off, gave up the position. There goes that round. So I like somebody like Nyam who will come forward, who will try to finish fights, who will try to win fights. He can grapple, he can strike, he can do all the things. I understand his opponent is quite dangerous as well. But I just like the dog in Nyam, and I think he's a decent underdog for those reasons. Then we have Tom Nolan. Tom Nolan's fighting Vyacheslav Borshev. Vyacheslav Borshev, notably the Team Alpha Male striking coach. He's a very technical striker. He had a full-blown professional kickboxing career before coming to MMA. I think Vyacheslav probably wins this fight because this should be a technical striking match, and he should be the more technical striker. But the reason Tom's listed as a solid underdog is because I think he is a good underdog here. I think that fight is very close because Vyacheslav is older. And while on paper he's not crazy old, but in fight years he is. He's sort of lost his power. He was just dropped by Chase Hooper a couple of fights ago. And all of a sudden, Vyacheslav Borshev, who is this technical striker, is turning into more of a one-dimensional boxer who's aging out a bit and at a rapid pace. Where Tom Nolan is long, he is young, he won't be the more technical striker, but he may be the more durable guy. He may be the guy who continues to come forward, who stays in Vyacheslav's face, and maybe Vyacheslav's old, used-up chin isn't going to hold up here. So I've got a bet. We'll talk about that bet in a second, but I think Tom Nolan overall is a decent underdog. Then we have Francisco Prado. That's Jacob's underdog lock of the week. Listen, I understand Francisco's moving up in weight. I get it. And maybe that benefits him. Maybe it doesn't, right? Maybe he's going to be a little undersized. Maybe he's going to be just not strong enough to push through things. The power won't carry up. Or maybe by not cutting all that weight, his cardio will be a lot better. And he's going to be way faster. I think Francisco Prado's a decent dog here because he's a well-rounded guy. He's aggressive on the feet. He can grapple if he needs to. And while the strength may not match in this fight, he should be faster. And his opponent, Jake Matthews, isn't exactly this like world beater, wildly dangerous guy. So I am surprised to see that Francisco Prado is as big of an underdog as he is, because he can certainly make something happen in this fight. And then we have Weili, the current champion of the world, one of the greatest women to ever do it in that weight class. And she is now officially an underdog. She opened at a minus 250 favorite and has been bet all the way down to a full-blown underdog. And I can understand it on the surface. As a lifelong wrestler, I usually pick wrestlers, and I understand people saying that Tatiana Suarez is the best wrestler that Weili has ever fought, and Tatiana's going to take her down and get it done. And that is possible. Weili's takedown defense is only 50%. But Weili has more 5-round experience, higher level experience overall. She's been far more active, far healthier. She's stronger. She's more athletic. And she's been there before. She's got some dog in her. We have not seen a fight where Tatiana was in trouble. We haven't seen her have to work through adversity. We haven't seen her fight in a 4th or 5th round. We haven't seen a lot from Tatiana. And that's because the fights that she's winning pretty easily. And she's had some very real issues. She had neck cancer, major surgeries, long layoffs. And while she has looked good in every fight, we haven't really seen any adversity there. So we're going to find out. Have we not seen adversity because she's just so damn dominant? Or have we not seen adversity because her style, the hard-nosed, come-in-your-face wrestling, pause, is just too much for most people? We're going to find out in this fight, but I think Weili, the current champion of the world, is a great underdog pick. Here's a look at the bets. I've got 4.5 units out the door. If all goes well in the world, we'll double the money, and we'll have a great night. Brana Brasil, I have plus 3.5 points on her. That's betting the spread. If you don't know what that is and you're new here, essentially every single judge has to score every single round 10 points or fewer. You buy 3.5 points on those judges' scorecards. The simple way to explain the math is if she wins one round, you're good to go. So she could outright win this fight and that bet will hit. She could lose a split decision and that bet should hit. She can lose a 29-28 and that bet will hit. So all Brana Brasil needs to do is either win or not get mauled in a loss, and we should be good there. I got that at plus 185. I mean, that's not too far off from her actual money line. Obviously, the money line's a little wider than that, with Kong Wang being minus 400. But I'll take a discount and allow her to, give up a few rounds and even potentially lose the fight. So only 1/4 of a unit there, because I do think Kong Wang striking is still very dangerous despite the quote-unquote fraud check situation in her last fight. And then here's that Tom Nolan bet I mentioned. It is a win inside the distance decision, no action bet. Your sportsbook may call this finish only. I get that all the time. Where is this? Where do I find it? It may be finish only on your book. We use Bet Online. It's called win inside the distance decision, no action. All this effectively means is if Tom Nolan finishes Vyacheslav Borshev, TKOs him, KOs him, submits him, we get paid, and we get paid at plus 110. If he ends up in a decision, we get a full refund. We don't lose any money. We get a refund. The only way we lose money is if Tom Nolan gets finished. If he is mauled and loses an insane decision where he was just clasping on to life, we get a refund. That bet never happened. If he finishes Vyacheslav, which is possible, we get paid. So again, the only way we lose money if he gets finished. And I got a couple of those bets. We'll talk about the rest in a second. I've got a parlay with Alessandro Topuria and Quilan Salkin. 2 UFC debuts. I smacked them together. I think they both win. I placed this bet about a week ago. If you're a premium member and you have the app, you got a push notification on the app when I placed this bet. What the odds are today, I couldn't tell you, but I got it at minus 178. I put a full unit on it. Obviously, there's some risk. I did not make that the safety parlay for a reason. Because UFC debuts, there's always just some inherent risk when you're betting on them. It's a big step up. Even though they're fighting another UFC debut in both of these cases, it's a big step up. Then I do have another premium parlay. This will be for premium members only. It is plus 109, and I have a full unit on that parlay. A plus money parlay with a full unit is new for Big Ange. Then I have 2 more win inside the distance decision, no action. We got Francisco Prado. He is the more dangerous fighter in that matchup. Yeah, Jake Matthews is good, well-rounded, the bigger guy, but he's not very dangerous, and Prado has a head like a brick. So I don't see Prado getting finished. Could he lose a decision? Sure. But I don't see him getting finished. So again, if Prado loses a one-sided decision, we get a full refund. If he wins this fight by finish, if he stops Jake Matthews, then we'll get paid. Justin Taffa, same exact logic here. Only 1/4 of a unit on the Justin Taffa bet, and that's because these are heavyweights and anything can happen. Justin Taffa hits like a freight train. He also has a head built out of bricks, so I don't necessarily see him getting finished. Does that mean he won't? No. These are heavyweights. His opponent is undefeated at 7-0 with 7 stoppages, so we'll find out. We will find out on Saturday night how good his opponent is or is not. But if I'm going to get plus money on a safe bet where Justin Taffa can just land big and make it happen, I'll take that. Because if he ends up losing a decision, either pot shot and he can't keep up with the speed, or he's just taken down for some reason over and over and over, I'll get a full refund. If he gets finished, that's how I lose the bet. And it is possible. He's a heavyweight. He could end up in a situation where he's just eating too many shots. He's a little older. Only 1/4 of a unit there. And then we have the safety parlay, a plus money safety parlay. Last week, the safety parlay hit, but it wasn't even technically a parlay because I had a parlay built and then Ikram Al-Skirov, that fight dropped. So we ended up with just a straight money line. This week, I'm giving you a plus money safety parlay. Okay? Plus money. I'm going to repeat it 4 or 5 more times so it settles in a plus money safety parlay. You can unlock that safety parlay, the other premium parlay, and any other bets I will place along with the tools and everything else right now. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's $10, dude. It's $10. It's 10. Think about all the dumb things you waste $10 on. $10 for an entire month, not just this card. 3 more cards after this as well. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. Here's that safety parlay. I am very proud of it. I mean, nothing stresses me out more than the safety parlay. Literally, I will get up and not watch the fights because it's so stressful because I care that much, because 20,000 people will watch my quick picks video. Another 10 to 20 will watch this video. And then on the website, we've got 4,600 people accessing the website every day. That's a lot of people to look at this one single bet. So it stresses me the hell out because I care very deeply. But you do have a plus money safety parlay. You can unlock it now. Here's Jacob's teaser. Jacob has 6 units of bets on the board as of this minute. If all goes well for him, he could put up 13 units effectively. Obviously, there are more bets coming. We also have Bet Sam. I showed you earlier how well he has been doing. He's got bets on the board as well. There's a lot of us giving you picks and bets. One of Jacob's bets is the underdog lock of the week, Francisco Prado. Watch his video. You can see that highlight, and you can see why he is on the Prado side. He put a full unit on him at plus 185. He also has a nice plus money parlay and a whole bunch of other bets. Obviously, Jakey boy living in the shadows nowadays, but that's not stopping him from putting up winning bets. He had a decent week last week. Underdog lock of the week hit, was up some money. Bet Sam, great last couple of weeks. Unlock everything everybody does right now. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. And anytime we hit cards like this, where there's some pretty juiced odds and some situations where you don't necessarily love the value, go to Bet Openly. Bet Openly is not a sports book. They don't have to beat you to stay in business and make money. All they need is people to use the website. That's it. Because the way they make money is taking 1% of the winnings. That's it. If I win $100, I get $99, they keep $1, and that's what makes the website work. And the way that all happens is because it's me versus you. It's human versus human betting. So they don't need to build in their profit into the odds. So what they get to do is pass the savings on to you. You will get better odds every single time. So if you're looking at a fighter that you think wins and they're minus 600 on the sports book, you might get them for minus 400 at Bet Openly. And obviously that's a big example, but there's all examples across the board. You're going to get better odds on both sides of the fight. Check them out at WeWantPicks.com/betopenly or just betopenly.com. And finally, if you want 50, we'll send you 50. We have affiliate deals with sports books. You use the link, you sign up, you make an account, they pay me. And then I will slice off some of that money and give it right back to you. Works for everybody. Win, win. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We'll get you $50. Good luck this weekend, guys. This feels like a sketchy card, but I'm feeling good about it. And hopefully we all do well together.